Hello traders, welcome to the Week Outline Setups volume 247. Iliya here. You perfectly know what we're going to be doing, having a look at the markets, how they developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly, what we can expect for the upcoming week. Now with the NFP out of the way, we are about to potentially get some trending markets, so of course gonna be very interesting. Let me take you to the economic calendar to potentially right now frame our week, and then of course jumping onto the charts and breaking them down to pieces. Let's go. Alright, so here we are on the economic calendar for next week. So we can expect potentially this Monday to also open up with a little bit of a gap because we have elections here on Sunday. Monday, no news. However, here is a little detail for you. The Monday after NFP usually tends to be very volatile. So if you're already having some sort of a bias, if you already know where the market could potentially go, Monday is potentially tradable. Tuesday, we have a speech from Powell, which is important, 5 p.m. So quite late during the day for me. Wednesday, interest rates for the NZD, another speech from Powell. So we have two speeches here. And then taking us on to Thursday, where we have CPI, which is likely pretty much one of the most important news releases when it comes to the market and determining what is potentially going to be happening next. So trading on Thursday, even trading on Wednesday, a little bit riskier. I am going to be showing up on Thursday after the CPI, but very likely the better trading day will be on Friday. All right, so it really depends on how Thursday plays out. If it really takes us to where we expect the market to go, to take the liquidity, and then maybe Friday to start pulling back. Or maybe Thursday gives us the setup and then Friday continues to push. Again, guys, it's not about forecasting. We cannot really say what is going to be happening on Thursday from now on, okay? But for me, overall Monday, overall Tuesday as well, Wednesday, all trading days, Thursday waiting for the CPI, and then Friday, of course, adapting to whatever is happening. So CPI on Thursday, that's the main highlight. Everything else looks good. Let's jump on the charts now. Alright, you know, as always, we are starting from the DXY. Now, what I don't like about this one is that we are kind of starting to compress a little bit here, and it's already been 3 months that we didn't make a significant move. This month is so far in the first week opening quite bearish. It gives me a very bearish vibe. So now the real question is, are we right now making the monthly low in order to later expand higher? Because I was overall having a bullish outlook on the DXY. Not really bearish. Or are we going to pretty much reverse and start pushing lower? Now, this is why, again, forecasting monthly candles, slightly bit tricky, right? Because we never know what to expect. But again, here we have those two situations at which right now the market is either manipulating to go lower and right now to start rocking higher, or is it actually reversing? So first week of July, very bearish, but look where it actually took us in. It took us into that very nice weekly bullish imbalance. All right. So I did actually call this one because we didn't have anything on the daily to potentially push price higher. So when that is the case, the market then will very likely pull back to something on the weekly, which is that weekly bullish imbalance. Now, the next question is, all right, is this weekly bullish imbalance going to cause the market to reverse and start pushing higher? Or is it going to get invalidated? Now, a very important thing that I'm going to be looking for next week is for the market to tap this line. Because if it taps this line, then this is going to invalidate the new bearish weekly imbalance from forming, which to me is going to be an overall bullish sign. Okay? But if we continue to push lower and if we actually start forming a new weekly bearish imbalance, then that could very well drive us into this low as well. All right? So this is the main thing that I'm going to be monitoring on the weekly. And then what we can see on the daily, here is the tap into the weekly, and the daily actually turned quite bearish. That is a very big risk-off scenario. Sorry, risk-on scenario here, where the dollar is flushing and everything else is pumping. Very expansive candle here on Wednesday, on Thursday, and even on Friday. I thought Friday could maybe make a little bit of a retracement after NFP, but it just continues going on. So right now, quite bearish. We're still tapping inside this weekly zone, so I am still going to be looking for the market to potentially start reacting and maybe actually invalidating this weekly imbalance. But then we're going to tap into this daily supply and demand sandwich area, and then if we actually break above this daily, then I could start calling longs. Right now, looking quite short, so then if we transfer onto the hourly time frame, well, This is where it gets a little bit ugly here, because the only thing we had was this hourly bearish imbalance here. Structure is also bearish. We tapped it in on NFP. We made a little bit of a whipsaw here. Woohoo. And right now we're closing a little bit choppy. So unfortunately, I don't have right now a very clear bias on the DXY, right? Longer term, I'm bullish, so I'm just super neutral, right? I'm not picking a side. I'm not saying it's bullish. I'm not saying it's bearish. I'm just staying super neutral, and every single day I show up in the morning, all right, what is the market telling me? It's telling me this, then I go with that, okay? Tapping into the weekly, we can still get a very nice rejection. The only area that the market could go short right now is this daily zone if on Monday we don't continue pushing lower to form another daily zone like that, okay? So once again, for the DXY, it's going to be very important so I'm going to say Monday is probably not a very nice trading day, because we don't have any sort of areas to trade from on the DXY. So this is the DXY. I want you to be really aware of this weekly zone, because it doesn't matter that we came in super strong into that zone, right? The market could still flip around. And if we come around and if we tap inside this weekly invalidation point here, then I might start saying that I'm more on the bullish side. For now, 50-50, nothing to work on the FOH. The daily time frame, we just have this zone. So my plan is to be waiting for Monday to play out. Absolutely no trading on Monday. And then potentially see how Tuesday looks like and how I can adapt to it. So that's the DXY. Unfortunately, no bias. EURUSD, the exact opposite. We are starting quite bullish, right? So after we took out this this monthly high, we very nicely rolled down last month. So this month I did expect for the market to just continue going lower and to be tapping towards this zone here. But no, it starts bullish. So now the question is it making a manipulation in order to roll down? Or is it just all of a sudden right now turning bullish? Which to me is perfectly fine. I don't really care. Then we drop to the weekly time frame. And we see we have this weekly bearish imbalance. However, if you compare this to the imbalance on the DXY is kind of looks like it's just tapping it, right? While EU looks a lot like it's already like very nicely engulfing it, okay? Now here we have that same weekly invalidation point. So if the market actually taps this line here, then a weekly bullish imbalance is going to be prevented from forming, and that is going to be a very nice bearish signal, okay? But if we continue to push higher, then of course the overall drawn liquidity, the overall target is going to be this high here. So very bullish week, very bullish week. Is it going to sustain? You can see here, for example, we tap this weekly zone and then the market tries to push lower, but look at this candle. So Tuesday's candle really didn't show me that it actually wants to go lower. And then you can see even on the 4-hourly time frame, we didn't make any bearish structure. We didn't make any bearish imbalances. So actually my only trade for this week was taken during this candle here. I capitalized on a beautiful long right there. I didn't share the trade, maybe I should have. Maybe I'm gonna make a video on it. Let me know if you want me to break down this lovely trade here and why I took it. But pretty much you can see we reacted from that weekly zone, and right now we're just massively engulfing it with a very nice daily bullish imbalance to potentially even hold price from invalidating this weekly imbalance. But not to say that even on Friday we popped higher very nicely. So right now we're even in the potential creation of a new daily bullish imbalance. On the daily time frame, my next liquidity target is going to be this one. So if we tap that one, pull back to retest the daily zone, and then potentially we can continue towards the weekly. So this is just the monthly open. It could very likely be a manipulation in order for the market to then roll down. All right, so just be very aware of this and monitor the imbalances, because they're always going to tell you what is happening, who is in control. Currently, it's just very clear buyers are in control right now. And this weekly zone, it reacted, but it didn't do its job. So right now the market is just continuing to go higher. But when it comes to the 4-hourly time frame, NFP kind of made it a little bit tricky right now. So I'm not looking for anything. I do think if the market is seeking some sort of liquidity on Monday, it could very likely just rush towards this liquidity point. And then as it takes this liquidity point, I would love to see a potential daily rebalance. And by that time on Tuesday, potentially, we could have, so let's say if the market also here, this is a daily invalidation line. I don't want to see Monday to tap this line. So Monday to potentially give me a little bit of an expansion candle to form this daily bullish imbalance, and then potentially on Tuesday, Wednesday, I can be looking for further longs. So this is my plan on EU, all right? It's definitely going to require waiting, and it's definitely going to require a little bit of a flow with the market. However, I am seeing a lot of bullish signs. I'm seeing a lot of bullish signs. I'm just gonna throw this out there. So I'm favoring more longs at this very precise moment, but I'm always super neutral and always super quick to shift my bias. So let's see how this one goes. Looking at GU as well, we can start seeing that across the board, this risk on scenario. GU pushing up, EU pushing up, right? Monthly bullish imbalance here on the pound. Very nice reaction, trying to push higher. Last month kind of looked like it wanted to reverse, but right now this month is already starting with a row. And it's currently, this is the major liquidity point. You can see here that we didn't really sweep the previous monthly low, which is not great. But right now we can see the monthly candle and even the weekly candle, it is just nicely bullish. Not to say that we're also coming from this weekly bullish imbalance. So we have monthly bullish, we had weekly bullish. I mean, GU to me is super bullish. So if you're looking to trade GU, I think this week is a pretty good week because we have a monthly target. We have here a weekly target, and checking out on the daily time frame, daily bullish imbalance right here. And also right now we're having another expansion candle. So hopefully the market does not touch this line, which is going to be our daily invalidation line, to make a new daily bullish imbalance, to then potentially use that in order to guide us into these liquidity points. All right. So here you can see we had like a bearish here, the market pulled back, it tapped in. So this is what I talk about, these invalidation lines, because here, for example, we had this very nice expansion candle, right? That looks like a very nice expansion. So then I say, okay, I'm going to wait one more day to see if the market is going to form a bearish imbalance here in order to go short. You wait that day and you can see this day crosses this invalidation line, which pretty much invalidates a new bearish imbalance. And this to me right now means that buyers are starting to step in. And then, yeah, you can see we consolidated a little bit. On Tuesday, we threw this very massive wick to the downside, and then we just started expanding higher. And currently, my drawn liquidity is just this weekly high. So GU looks super bullish, and there is nothing to stop it towards that high. So on the daily time frame, however, I would once again love to see right now a new daily imbalance to be created on Monday in order to trade it on Tuesday. I think it could be a lovely trade if it develops. We even have a hourly bullish imbalance to potentially hold price like that. But yeah, Monday to me is a skip, and looking to focus on longs on GU from Tuesday onwards. Of course, if something like this happens, very massive sharp push lower, will definitely require a lot more confirmation. But if we create a daily bullish imbalance right here, I am definitely gonna go for it. Although like GU, I don't like trading it. Has very clear draws and liquidity here. Looks quite good. Let's see. AU is finally moving somewhere. So after a whole month of pure chop, right now we are starting to move. Now, the thing is that we're taking this monthly swing point, all right? And if we drop to the weekly time frame, we're tapping into this weekly zone that is not retested. It's unmitigated. So of course, this can offer potentially some sort of resistance, right? And we're also taking a lot of liquidity, which is a monthly liquidity. So if we take monthly liquidity, then potentially you'd like to see a weekly, monthly or weekly rebalance. And we don't have something right now. All we have is a very nice weekly expansion candle. And of course, we are going to have this weekly invalidation line. Oops. How does this work? Add text? I add text, doesn't work. Weekly invalidation point, right? So I don't want to see this week to massively flush lower to invalidate a new bullish weekly imbalance. Now, when it comes to the daily, let's check it out. On the daily time frame, we have this also. So pretty much, yeah, all the majors look the same. Daily bullish imbalance. However, Aussie dollar is entering, it's taking a lot of liquidity and it's entering into weekly bearish imbalance. If you ask me right now, if I'm to pick, GU is just way better than AU. GU has very clear draws on liquidity, doesn't have that it's tapping anything to the left. It has a monthly zone, it has a weekly zone, it has a daily zone, right? AU is just starting to move right now. It's taking lots of liquidity above this whole range here, right? So taking longs into that weekly zone, slightly bit risky. I would wait. And then you can see the 40 time frame is right now a little bit, yeah, it's not a little bit, it's quite shitty here. So waiting on Aussie dollar. I really want to see where it wants to go, because right now it can just very likely, this can be manipulation, and then we can start rolling down. All right, Aussie dollar, it's off of my list. I will focus on GU for now this week. This one, gonna give it some time, of course. This is gonna pull back. It's going to start breaking above this weekly zone, because if we break above this weekly zone, then this is gonna be the target and it's gonna be clear. But right now, it first has to deal with that zone, maybe react, and then break the reaction to start giving me that bullish order flow, and then potentially start trading it. For now, very 50-50. Let's have a look at NZUSD. So we are having an overall bullish candle so far. It also took out the previous monthly low, which is very nice, which is very likely some sort of a weekly low as well. Yep, there it is. It was the previous weekly low. We very nicely took that. And let's not forget that NZUSD is also coming from this very nice weekly bullish imbalance as well. And right now the target would eventually be this guy. So looking quite good, I would say. On the daily time frame also, it has this very nice daily bullish imbalance. And if we look to the left, right now it's taking this high. And then, yeah, there is nothing else to potentially stop it. So right now I would expect some sort of a reaction to pull back into a daily or a 4-hourly zone, and then to potentially rock higher. So yeah, NZUSD also looks a little bit better than AU right now. I would also love to see a daily bullish imbalance to get created on Monday, so that we can trade it on Tuesday. So make sure to mark this line. Okay, why this doesn't work? It says add text and I can't seem to add the text. So this is the daily invalidation point that I do not want to see crossed on Monday. Creation of a daily bullish imbalance, and then I would love to long this pair as well. And yeah, on the 4-hourly time frame after NFP, it's quite shitty, so I'm not going to be monitoring the 4H a lot. So NZUSD looks quite nicely bullish. We are again just taking these daily swing points here. Actually, even that one a little bit more important, prominent. And right now I would be looking for a daily pullback or a 4-hourly pullback to potentially continue going higher. That's NZUSD. Also gives me super bullish vibes, which overall confirms that overall DXY is very bearish. Everything else is looking quite bullish. So I guess I'm gonna stick with it. That's what the market is telling us. So let's see if it follows through. Gold is also confirming my suspicion for a risk on perspective. We're having sell off on the DXY. Gold right now starts rallying without pulling back to that monthly zone. I have been looking for that monthly zone to get tapped for 2 months now, and the market just runs away from it. So on the weekly time frame, we had a very lovely chop here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of a chop. And this week we're just very nicely expanding. So are we going to be going towards this high? Well, of course, we have to see. Keep in mind, we are right now taking this very important weekly add text. Oh, there we go. I figured it out. So that's a weekly swing point that we're taking right now. So usually when we take a weekly high like this, the market would like to rebalance something either on the weekly or on the daily. On the weekly time frame, we are currently in... Okay, I still don't get this one. Do I have to click on the plus? Oh, man. We're having this weekly invalidation line, so I don't want to see the market to pull back into this one, which is going to be a very bearish sign. And on the daily time frame, whoa, this was a nice trade on Friday. Daily bullish imbalance, weekly high as a target. We just tapped in and whoop, very nice explosion. So also right now we're having the same here on the daily. So if the daily time frame forms a daily bullish imbalance right now, it will be absolutely lovely. So I'm waiting for Monday on gold as well to form that daily bullish imbalance and then to potentially look to trade it. All right. 4-hourly time frame, we also have this one. But I'm just going to wait for Monday to pass and then trade from a daily zone. This one just got tapped. Yeah, I'm quite aggressive, I would say, trading that on NFP. Even if you enter like that, your stop loss kind of gets a little bit tricky. Probably very likely a trade that I wouldn't really take. All right, so nothing to stress about. Gold looks very bullish right now. I mean, this imbalance here was retested, so the only thing to worry us is this high And if right now we get the daily bullish imbalance for the market to rebalance on Tuesday, Wednesday, then I potentially call a long. But yet again, we really have to be vigilant and we really have to be careful, because imagine CPI comes in and we start dropping. So then of course the bias has to change really quick. So monitor that. I think there could be an early trade across the whole majors market if we form a daily bullish imbalance. So that is the main focus on Monday. Wait for that daily bullish imbalance to form, and then Tuesday and Wednesday can definitely be taken into the long side. Let's explore the JPYs real quick. So we are taking out the previous monthly high, and we're right now printing a overall bearish candle on the monthly. On the weekly time frame, we have this weekly bullish imbalance. So we're taking out this very massive high. Let's just note this one. That is a monthly high, yeah, monthly high, weekly high, monthly high, right? And right now we have this also, this very sort of a little bit shitty imbalance, I would say, because this last candle was super bearish, right? So I would say UJ potentially likes to rebalance either this one or potentially even this lower one, and then to potentially see what's going to happen. So not my favorite price action here, not my favorite. But then dropping onto the daily, yeah, so we're pretty much working with these two weekly zones right now. These are potentially where the market could be going. We don't have on the daily anything. There is a daily bullish imbalance here, but that was already tapped, so nothing to stop price. So if you are looking for counter trend trades, you need to see something on the 4H, which you also don't. Man, JPYs are just shitty. They are moving higher, but they move higher in the shittiest manner. Like not a single quality imbalance to trade from right here. So I just don't like it. I would say a very low hanging fruit will be this weekly bullish imbalance. So if you are scalping or something, if you get something like on a 1 hourly 15 minutes time frames like that, you could potentially drive it into this weekly bullish imbalance. Then you have to wait to see if we're going to get a reaction, right? A shift of structure, a shift of order flow, or you just get a reaction, and then if that breaks, then you can immediately start targeting the next weekly zone. And that once again really depends on the DXY. Will the DXY persist with that risk on perspective, which is pretty much a bearish DXY, or is it going to start shifting? So again, watching the DXY if trading USD/JPY is quite important, although the USD/JPY is kind of a DXY but for the JPYs. So that is my outlook on UJ. I would expect short-term bearishness, but we do have a lot of these support areas like this weekly imbalance. So once the market taps this guy, you have to start getting a little bit more careful. But if you ask me, the majors just look a lot better than this pair, for example. Well, I could be talking trash about the JPYs, but they're just rocking. Like you could look at Euro JPY, it looks like a very nice healthy stock. Weekly, we are having a weekly very nice imbalance. We are taking out this high here. So are we going to rebalance all the way down? Are we going to keep pushing higher? Well, this is what the lower time frames are going to tell us. Right now on the daily time frame, we have this daily bullish imbalance that is actually tapping on Friday. Then we have this daily imbalance to act as support, but then just below that daily is the weekly. So very likely if we're gonna go all the way to this daily, very likely we're even gonna revisit the weekly. All right, so tapping into this daily zone right now and already reacting, and then of course we could be targeting this high. Oops, oh come on, this high almost got taken. Hourly time frame tapped in here. I don't like how it's starting to consolidate here at the top. So I would say, like, this is very tricky, but I would say the market could grab the liquidity on top here. And then the question will be, is it going to continue pushing higher, breaking above this high and making new order flow ranges? Or is it going to take out this high, start printing bearishness, and then you can potentially target this high, this imbalance, all right? So those are my two outcomes on EUR-yen. This is how I would look at it. On the short side, it's very likely if USD/JPY starts rolling down a little bit, then EJ could potentially roll down a little bit as well. But right now, we tap this daily zone, so we're going to be targeting this daily high potentially. And then the question is what happens if we take out this daily high? Do we going to break it and continue higher, or are we gonna sweep it and potentially start giving signs for shorts to pull back into these daily and weekly zones? So that's your yen. Well, GBP JPY is also rushing very nicely into the highs. Weekly time frame, do we have a weekly imbalance? Well, not yet. We're just having a very nice expansion candle here. On the daily time frame, we have this daily bullish imbalance that is already tapped, and the market already kind of printed a candle. So once again on this one, are we gonna impulse higher and continue pushing higher, or are we going to start reversing lower? Which I pretty much don't see where we could be reversing, because if the market actually wants to reverse to make a pullback, it usually wants to make a pullback into something on a higher time frame, but we don't have anything on the weekly right now. So I guess we can just potentially maybe make a small pullback, and then if we start impulsing, then that's gonna be the bullish sign. But right now we're tapping into that daily, and the market already took the liquidity here of that daily zone. I can't figure this out. Look at this. Okay. So here we have the daily liquidity, right? And at the same time, we're forming this hourly zone. So doesn't look bad, I would say. Potentially pull back into this 4H. And if the market starts holding, then potentially it could be a nice long trade. All right. Now, keep in mind USD yen. If USD yen starts dropping a little bit, then this is going to stop Euro yen and GJ from pushing higher. So be mindful, but to me, it looks like a nice long setup overall. Definitely could attempt it, but again, I'm not trading JPYs here, so I'm not interested at all. Daily zone tapped, hourly zone printed. I do like it, but still something feels a little bit off about it. Looks a little bit too high. So I would much better wait for a deeper pullback. So for example, this here was a good trade. You wait for a deeper pullback, taps into a daily zone, and then you just target a daily high. You have a target, you know where the market is going. Right now, as it keeps making highs and like it's at the very top, usually a little bit sketchy. So be careful. Much better wait maybe for a deeper pullback and then target the high. Or if the market potentially makes an impulse, then once again wait for a pullback like this into a daily zone, and then once again target a daily high. So that's GJ, long bias overall. And of course, listen to your own trading plan. If you get the setup, definitely go for it. All right, let's have a look at some indices. Starting from SPX, we are making new all-time highs, continuing to push higher. On the weekly time frame, we didn't have a weekly bullish imbalance, yet the market is continuing to go higher. We're still having that one that is right now left. So yeah, are we going to continue pushing higher? Are we going to start reversing? Of course, we have to be looking at the lower time frames. This one started a little bit choppy, but then overall Tuesday swept Monday's low, showed us very nice bullish intention. So then we very quickly came in to take out that all-time high. And right now we're continuing to push higher. We have this daily zone and also we have this daily zone. Both of them are not tapped. And then Friday just rallied higher, which makes that we probably have something on the hourly time frame. Yeah. So quite bullish, I would say, across all time frames. Super bullish, but also super extended right now. Once again, I like to see the pairs make a pullback and then target the high. Okay, because right now what you're simply trying to do is chase the market a little bit towards making new all-time highs. So of course, the only thing to stop the market from pulling back to this daily is this hourly zone. So if this hourly zone fails, then you can target the daily, and then as we tap the daily, you can look for the shift to then target new all-time highs. So that would be my very simple plan on SPX. Nothing more I can say. I just, for the indices, I always wait for daily pullbacks for the market to then potentially, especially with the current situation with all-time highs, it's always good to get as bigger pullback as possible and then pretty much target the all-time highs. All right. So right now, looking once again for that daily and even a weekly pullback, but the weekly is, no, the weekly is way too down here. So yeah. 2 daily beautiful zones. Let's see if we tap either of them this week. And then from there, we can continue going higher. NASDAQ also very similar, just continuing to push higher. Currently, potentially in the creation of a new monthly bullish imbalance, which is quite great. On the weekly time frame also here, what was beautiful is that we actually had this weekly bullish imbalance. And right now the market is just starting to rock higher. I really hope we do create a new weekly bullish imbalance, which is going to be a very nice area of interest for the upcoming weeks. Then we transfer onto the daily time frame. You can see here we have, unlike the SPX, Nasdaq tapped the daily imbalance. SPX did not, which is probably this divergence thing, right, that a lot of people talk about. And right now we're just continuing to impulse higher. So again, are we gonna have a new daily bullish imbalance to potentially trade from? I would definitely love that, because again, right now we are just pushing and massively, wow, this was also a nice trade here on NFP. We're just massively pushing towards creating all-time highs. And when it comes to targets, it's quite hard to get a target. So for example, here, that was quite a nice healthy pullback into the weekly. So then from this weekly to this weekly high, you pretty much have an overall trade idea, right? Right now, it's just at the high. So what? You are going to take from this fall zone and pretty much target this all-time high. It's not the greatest, all right? But of course, this is the fall zone that could potentially push price higher. I would also be looking for a new daily imbalance to be formed on Monday, and then potentially Tuesday onwards could potentially be longs. If of course this overall DXY sentiment continues, indices could continue going higher. But I'm always keeping an open mind, always having a neutral stance, because again, if we start getting short, of course, I'm gonna jump onto the short. So that's Nasdaq, super bullish, super nice price action. I hope a lot of you capitalized on these longs, because they were pretty much long here from this volatile zone. There was a long here from this volatile daily zone, and then there was another volatile zone here after NFP. Just looks very, very, very good. Very good on Nasdaq. Lovely trades. And yeah, US30 being the black sheep, it's not doing anything right now. So, I mean, SPX and Nasdaq are just rocking to the skies. This one doesn't want to do anything. So why would it trade it? Inside bar on last week choppy, this week even choppier. Daily time frame. Nah, I'm just not gonna even analyze this. Like for US30, just wait for something to happen, for it to go somewhere, print some daily imbalances, and then if you're of course looking to trade it, then trade it. Right now it's absolute choppy. I mean, Nasdaq and SPX just look 1,000 times better. So sorry US30, but you are absolutely out of the list. All right, taking it back full circle. Now there are few key points to monitor this week. Is this DXY, is this US dollar bearish pressure going to sustain? Are we going to have new daily imbalances being created on Monday, potentially? Okay, because right now we're tapping into this weekly zone, but this weekly zone so far doesn't seem to be doing the job. So we could be potentially pushing lower in the DXY, which is something that I did not expect. Euro USD also looking for that daily bullish imbalance to be created, and pretty much across those USD pairs, Monday, waiting for Monday to form is going to be very key to see if we get those daily bullish imbalances. If we do get them, Tuesday and Wednesday could be very nice trade ideas. This is pretty much my plan. Waiting for Monday to play out to see if we get these daily bullish imbalances, and then looking to strike. GBP USD, lovely trade by the way. This is I'm just gonna highlight it like this. Very clear draw on liquidity, very clear expansion from a monthly zone, from a weekly zone, daily zone right now. Looks very, very, very good. Aussie dollar, I'm gonna put this one on the side because it's just taking massive monthly liquidity. It's tapping into weekly resistance area, so it's not the highest probability trade. Meanwhile, NZUSD looks quite good because it's actually tapping into a weekly support, and right now we're starting to expand higher. So if it does form also a daily bullish imbalance, it will be a very, very, very nice idea to also potentially consider. Gold also. If on gold we also form that daily bullish imbalance after Monday closes, also very nice long idea. So overall, EU, GU, NU, and gold look very nicely long. Now, USD/JPY, I mean, it has those two weekly bullish imbalances. Is it going to start reaching them? I do think so, because right now we are in an overall pullback or a reversal on the DXY. So definitely possible. EJ and GJ a little bit extended. They are having some daily zones that they can work with, but potentially I would expect the bigger pullback. I would love to see a bigger pullback to then once again target the new highs. Right now it's just slightly chasing it, but this is usually how the JPY works. When they start rocking, right? They don't pull back and then they start chopping around. This is why I don't trade JPYs, because they pretty much don't move how I usually resonate with the market to move. And yeah, indices, SPX and Nasdaq looking very good. I am potentially looking for new daily bullish imbalances to be created. Nasdaq is already going very strong. SPX is kind of having two unretested daily zones here. Could be very nice if it actually pulls back to retest them. 4-hourly zones right now to potentially stop price and continue pushing it higher. So everything looks long to me. I mean, yeah, if you're looking at the major pairs that we have here, apart from the JPY, no, even EJ and GJ, everything looks long. DXY looks short. Is this a fake move? Is this the real move? Is this a reversal? We are about to see potentially this week. We have CPI incoming as well. The next week, we're going to have the interest rate. So the more we wait, the clearer it's going to be. And usually when it's the cleanest, that is when the high probability setup occurs. But right now, we're just flowing with the market and with what it shows us. So traders, let me know what is your favorite setup for the upcoming week. What are you going to be monitoring? Let me know how you also perform this week. And I'm going to talk to you on the next video.